Greetings. This is Anton Propendergast Garvinian, and I'm here to share a nice poem, free flow poem about Tommaso and Aiello, the fishermen of Neapolitan freedom. I hope you enjoy. I stumbled across this man while reading Common Sense. His biography isn't in the Common Sense pamphlet, but his name is mentioned and I explored him. He's an interesting character, and I give, through this poem, a perspective from Tommaso himself. Within the temples of Napoli pass many a by my inscription. At our home, near all in that heart, were baptized under those Spaniards in Vicorito, I birthly cried into the impoverished. Read with my heed, you do not need to see, my love for Napoli was true, despite the fires I spread bringing misery. In my youth, I was of well-perceived liking, glazed from hours of fishing work. Black eyes as the fish eye, and blonde hair uncut shaded my neck. Market Square is where I lived and sold, part of the common trade, with friends and brother, and with the common people, common class. Often at time execution came, and oppression came from the hands of aristocrats, enslaving aristocrats who treated me the lesser, no respect for the deeds I committed for them. The arrests of myself and wife, us turned into a duo of fools, a smuggler and invader was I know it was, but alas, silenced by crumbling payment, freeing my wife who only had delivered a sack of flour, crime imprisoning myself again. These freedoms of peoples crafted in the prison walls, these people of freedom tutored me and consulted for the right of us. Oh, these burdensome taxes of a decaying empire, the noble had no interest, none whatsoever, of our repression. I return to inspire the masses amongst Market Square, for I have made my own voice for my teachers, and awaited aid to collect from the Napoli, and soon we, the greater group, took shape, and the similar actions of the Sicilians. After another newer taxation of fruits, was I who commanded the growing malcontents, bringing them to the city gates, those who set fire to the customs and persecuted Viceroy. I ashamed, attempted calming of this horrific violence. Punished was that duke and brother by execution, and criminals ravishing our homes. Despite it all, there was a great terror for the peoples I loved, and I, Captain General, claiming more provincial support, resolutely persuaded the Viceroy to reform the aristocracy, not the state. He obeyed to our concessions for a more earnest state, alongside the never-decreasing barbarity and harassment of my revolt. Yes, my revolt, but it was never my gain, but the revolters. Our Archbishop, blessed these reformed conventions, as I, leader of the most faithful peoples of Napoli. Though they still blaze her, we pardon them and remove the burdensome taxes, and retain rights and arms of Napoli. But is this deserved of sin? Maybe it will surrender the sin. I have crafted the suffer of the many. I have laid down before the Viceroy my title and future wealth, for fishery and no more death. I am not a soldier, but enticed was I to celebrate, then spawned a strain, some criminal sip of all the beverages I consumed, I know not what one. Floundered my senses, removed my mental capacities, revealing the hatred I had for my enemies, killing, abusing my people. Earnestly I say I have become like Cola di Rinzo, and invading force arrest, I bemoan to the revolters and nobles alike, sentencing them as criminals, the oppressors and bleeders of their own kind, for they were given the freedom to prove their true faces as, or are, the aristocrats of blood and robbery. I, Captain General, will judge and punish those all who harm Napoli. Even if I speak upon the times of Mass, they are not worshippers of God, those who betray us. Alas, I was bound and driven off to the monastery, slain in my head some trophy preserved for its viceroy display, then buried, though thought of, in the begs of repent. The viceroy, presented for, and became fearing of what he inherited, flew away to another. Departing he did of this revolt, and his successor collapsed in a republic shaped upon protection of French, which lasted only shortly, for Spain violated her again. This thought is what remains. I wish I never had to violate her myself. Why could not the nobleman see the creed? Heed my final plea. Truth is truth. I am not a friend nor man who wrote any common sense. I am a fisherman, not a king. In common with the staymaker in the belittling, though to me freeing poverty. I know not of staymaking, but I enjoy the silences and pleasures of the boat life, and freedom of human death and rapturous fire. It is incomprehensible for me to slay my own kind while dreaming in those boats long ago, even in the smugglings, even as the criminal. I feared those people who kill and pillage. They seemed to be no empathy of their own kind, and that removed my empathy for them and my deadly punishments. Those sentences were still my own, and they were of us, my own culture punished. I wish it would not happen. If we revolt, should we not be superior to the treatment aristocrats hand out? Listen to the voice of common sense. It correctly warns the posterity. Need not avoid wasteful violence and death for taxes only, for it opens the doors to many whom steal, burn, kill, for they are finally free and wish to enact their pleasures trapped within themselves all those years. Burn us and treat us poorly, not withholding their greed, for the wealthy and poorest can all be equally of rice. It is sick happiness to be all at once free of laws, just as obtaining a powerful place in government. It will tell you what kind of person you are without error. Actions of these miscreant malcontents presented to me truths repeated through history, what revolt gifts and proves. There is no greater tyrant or imprisoner than the beholden to another Neapolitan. Likewise, to every country, every state, there is no greater evil to yourself than you. You often become intolerable for the writer of common sense. I restricted the comforts, insulted the comforts of aristocrats. The blood spent for it, a failure that my homeland is hurt. I am not worthy. I have no desire to be forgiven, but I shall bless you a good day in our Napoli, our angel of domes, and blessed will be her residence of the sun. Blessed we are now, unified against the miscreants, poor rich. Conclusion. I don't know what else to add. I think the moral that I try to overly explain is quite clear. I hope you all have a wonderful moment in time.